Hello, everybody. My name is Harsh Gupta. I'm on the product management team of Citrix's virtual apps and desktops product group. I firstly welcome you to Citrix Converge, and I'm very happy to see you all here. My goal today would be to share what have we done within Citrix's virtual apps and desktops from my API strategy that would be able to help you fulfill some of your fast-growing business needs. We will walk you through some of the highlights on what we have delivered so far, where are we taking it, and then briefly touch upon our community that is growing very quickly and how you could contribute to it. And as always, we are happy to take your feedback. So please make sure to be actively discussing in the Slack channel for Citrix Converge within the virtual apps and desktops channel. The year 2020 started with a back foot or on a back foot, where we were impacted by the global spread of this pandemic, which meant for people like us to make sure that all the employees within our organizations were working safely but remotely, but in a productive manner. So that forced us to really drive our VDI transformation. And we know at Citrix, virtual apps and desktops is at the center of most of yours cloud VDI transformation. So how did we have to progress this year? We saw that our admins, in addition to doing their day-to-day jobs, even which was very fast evolving, required more admin tasks such as driving a cloud migration, having a better integration. The usage reporting was done accurately. Finally, to make sure that while people moved to the cloud, they were spending in an optimized manner, which followed through by driving cost reductions. So as we see in this fast-paced world, the need for automation was increasing every day. The line between the admin and developers were blurring every single day. Admins had to write code so they were able to meet their fast-moving business needs, and developers' code had to make sure that they could solve for complex admin functions. And as the technologies were evolving, we know a lot of you wanted to take advantage of the different DevOps tools, building up pipelines, taking them through serverless function, and having benefits of or taking benefits of the various automation platforms. In order to do so, while we were on our journey to build our API strategy, we did take a survey to understand what are the key motivations. And we learned that the key things you're after are getting better visibility within your environment, having stronger control in this changing network setup, infrastructure setup, and so on. And finally, have flexibility of the tools that you use, the platform that you select, or the IAs that you. Having learned that, I also wanted to let you know that we ourselves had been modernizing our Citrix APIs. Back in the day, we leveraged COM. In 2010, we had introduced PowerShell. But today, I'm excited to share with you that we are now exposing all CVAD functions through Restful APIs. So now with the new Restful APIs, our goals were to make sure you get feature parity with the PowerShell SDK, so there's no regression in the functions you've currently been using. We support any new programming language, so to give you that flexibility and so that you just don't have to use .NET. And from a client side, you could be using these APIs against a Windows client and Linux client or directly into our web application. And finally, wanted to make sure that you could enable new use cases to get to the outcome faster. If you think you are still waiting to get access to these APIs, you're wrong. You already are using that CVAD API. And do you know how? Let me show you. It's through the Modern Studio. So the new look and feel that you see that you're all excited about, they've all been backed by these new RESTful APIs. The interesting thing is how we went about it. In order to avoid admin confusion, we actually went node by node and started to modernize them through a service called Orchestration Service, which we exposed through RESTful APIs. And as we went per node and more nodes came in, we released them into our new modern experience within this web studio. And you will soon see more innovations along these lines. Further on, what we also did is we created this new service called Citrix Managed Desktop that is now called as CVAD standard for Azure. If you see what it's done is once you create this rich API framework, you can modernize your stack and also create these new UIs to actually custom the experience of your admins. And that is what we would like you to do within your environment to use these APIs and have them tailor made for your specific use cases so that you get to the points that you desire to faster than the legacy ways of doing this. Our APIs were battle hardened and continue to go through that entire hardening phase. And today we actually see we have over 1 million events a day within the CVAD APIs. Any new feature within Citrix is written through an API first mindset. Our engineering teams are very disciplined to make sure that every single feature that they write has a public facing API. Other teams at Citrix are also consuming these APIs. All our automation framework is, all our testing is based on these APIs. And we are trying to get one step closer to a unified platform of APIs across all Citrix products. Citrix ourselves, as I mentioned, we are writing new capabilities, but these are the new capabilities. These are two new capabilities that we built based on just this APIs to make the lives of our admins simple. First was automated configuration tool. I'll talk about that in detail. And second is a micro app support. Here, what we did is we basically took calls from CVAD and created a micro app feed within the workspace that will allow help desk admin to quickly restart a struggling desktop or quickly assign a user a new desktop in case he was unable to use his existing one. So let's talk about automated configuration for a second. Automated configuration lets you export your configuration and store it in a certain file format. So you basically have your configuration expressed as a code. And that particular file can now be tracked through version control. So you actually have a configuration environment from a month ago, a week ago, or whatever frequency you decide to take backups. It helps you to focus on your DevOps workflows so that you can move in a pipeline from where you make a configuration change into your test environment to a staging environment all the way to your production. And then this becomes a repeatable automation. Right? We do not want to give you something that you could use one time and be done with it. And that kind of creates resistance in using any tool. So now if you think about it, once you have migrated or made changes, you can continuously use that for trying out new changes, moving that across sites, and also finally make it integrated with desired state tools. So through this repeatable automation, you can actually have a desired state configuration for yourself. And breaking the automated configuration tools into use cases, first and foremost, a lot of our customers use it for an on-prem to cloud migration. And the key thing here is to understand that it is not migrating the entire configuration base, but migrating pieces of it. So hypothetically, you can migrate all your configuration into a YAML file and then go ahead and hash out the pieces you do not want to migrate and only migrate pieces that you would want to test and validate. Think about how easy it makes your cloud transition. You basically move X number of users, Y number of applications, test it out, have a project plan to migrate your entire broad CVAD environment. Configuration backup, as I touched briefly, you now can version control them. So let's say you do have a backup from 4 days ago. I, as an admin, make a change, and that does not get approved. I don't have to go back and reverse all my changes, expose my environment to human error. I can just go ahead and recover from my last known backup. Further, staging to production. Right now, I want to make a configuration change. I go ahead and import my changes to a staging site. I make sure everything works, and then I basically take the same configuration to my production, and all of this is automated. So very low touch, faster to do. You get to a desired state much quicker. And finally, scaling. Right now, you can think about having deployments across multiple regions, across multiple devices across multiple infrastructure. Now you basically can continue to move all of them, and you can continue to expand them. So all the things that were painstaking took months of time now go happen in minutes. We actually have customers who said migration efforts, which used to take them 6 months, they finished in less than an hour. To get further details, I would highly recommend watching Under the Hood of Automated Config Tool by Nitin and Bala. Now let's go ahead and talk about our APIs. We had started the year with the goal of transforming all our on-prem code into an APIs that all our admins could access. And the way we went out was we had this clear goal defined that we had to shorten the amount of code a developer must write to get from concept to action, really helping you get to the endpoint with spending much lesser time. We started the year with a private tech preview and now have been in a public tech preview where all the documents that you need to get started are available to you. And we will continue to mature them. We'll have more APIs come in with greater number of runbooks and acceptances to them. And we'll declare the collection GA, meaning a part of the puzzle that we fulfill. We'll make sure once once we've met all the acceptance criteria, we will GA it while we continue to add more APIs to your arsenal for coding. In terms of our documentation, I would highly recommend following developer.cloud.com or regularly visiting it. Today, we already have a lot of getting started guides there. We have documentation and delivery and machine catalogs, and you'll soon see more documentation and runbooks coming in here, and that too in a phased manner. I would recommend attending automating virtual apps and desktops with CVAD Restful Apis, a session from Angelo Saraceno. Let's talk about our developer community. As we all know, no one codes alone, right? So that's why we want to extend our community or create a community so that we get your input, people share their ideas and constructs. So there are a couple of things that you can do right now. We have on the Converge Slack, we have virtual apps and desktops channel where we would be we'll be running sessions or having active dialogue with a lot of you. So please make sure to follow that. And then we also have discussion forums, which will have higher response rates at the moment, but something that you can always come back to us or to the community. And you would start to see, these are some of the examples that have come in from the community. Some codes by us, some codes being contributed. So let's continue to make sure we continue to build on this. You get the latest update. So between these communities and the developer.cloud.com, you will have the latest and greatest within the CVAD APIs. And if you think you've done something cool, let us know. We would make sure to feature it on our own blog. I will do it on my personal blog. But please share with the community, reach out to us, let us know what you're doing, and let's make this a highly innovative and a fun-filled community. I wanted to share where we are going next and what our thoughts are. Like, as we build out this, having this DevOps mindset for every piece, like your infrastructure, your code, your configuration, all of that is important. So we will continue to improve controls within these test, dev, and production environments. Second, you have to know the usage statistics of your APIs. So we will let you know how many APIs you're calling, how frequently you're calling, where are you placed in effect from rate limits, and so on. We will further give you an API tab from Studio, so you can directly write code within your Studio console. Then we'll also give you webhooks, so you can call into your IaaS directly from CVAD service. So not just call into CVAD to make configuration changes, but also from CVAD to your IaaS so that you could make configuration changes and infrastructure changes at a faster pace. And then we'll give you a granular control of permissions where you would be able to control the duration of a certain token and also who you would allow to make access and not allow to make access. That's something on our roadmap. This is the first year when CVAD APIs have been a part of Citrix Converge. And when we opened up Converge for sessions, we had overwhelming response and we had to actually shortlist. And so we came out with top 18 sessions I'm sure there were a lot of good ones, but we only could only accommodate 18. But we think these are the best. These are some of the sessions that have people like Martin Zugak talking about Citrix Optimizer, Ryan Butler talking about pipelines of golden images, and then Eljo talking about how do you monitor within the CVAD service using the OData APIs. With that, I want to call it a wrap. I wish you all a great Converge. I hope you attend all the different sessions, gain a lot of knowledge, and please add to the community because that's how we grow together. Once again, thank you so much. Bye-bye.